Hi everybody, we are going to continue our conversation about equivalent units, process costing, and we are going to specifically talk about weighted average method. In the problem, we are given the beginning working process inventory both from dollar perspective, dollar value perspective, as well as percentage perspective. And then we are given the cost incurred in the month of April specifically. The units started in April. We need to find out how many units we are completing given that the ending working process inventory has 5,000 units. And we will again go step by step. We are going to calculate total equivalent units for materials under weighted average method. Now, in order to calculate the first piece, we need to calculate units completed. And the units we are starting, the beginning working inventory, plus the units we are starting, 15,000, should be equal to ending units plus completed units. In other words, we had at the beginning of the one 20,000 units. We are starting an additional 15,000 units. That is 35,000 units available. And then out of that 35,000, 5,000 is still working process right here. That means the units we are completing and sending to finished goods inventory should be 30,000. Now, total equivalent units is again based on the questions we had, questions 13 and 14, is we need to add 100% to 100%. So completed units is 100%, that is 30,000. And then we need to convert the 5,000, that is 25% complete, into something that is 100% complete. And that something is 5,000 25% complete is 1,250 units that are 100% complete. That's the notion of equivalent units. Now we can add the two up. 30,000 units that are 100% complete and 1,250 units that are 100% complete. And total equivalent units for materials specifically turns out to be 31,250. Now let's calculate the total equivalent units for conversion in this case. Now what's going to change is the ending working process inventory. Again, we are going to have the same 30,000 units that we are completing. This 30,000 will not change. What is going to change is the percent completion. This is 30,000. This is 5,000. And what we are saying is 30,000 units that are 100% complete plus 2,500 units that are 100% complete. So what we are doing essentially is we are saying 5,000 units that are 50% complete is equal to 2,500 units that are 100% complete. So hence, we have the total equivalent units for conversion equal to 32,500. Now, under weighted average method, let's calculate the direct material cost per unit. Under weighted average method, we need to take the total material cost, including working process, and the cost incurred in the month, divided by total equivalent units. That is, the working process inventory was 20,000, cost incurred is 11,250, and we are dividing it by equivalent units for materials specifically. And we calculated in the first step that it was 31,250. Direct material cost per unit turns out to be $1. And let's also calculate the conversion cost per unit under weighted average costing. Again, we are going to add the 30,000 and 9,000 and divide that by equivalent units for conversion. Equivalent units for conversion is what we calculated was 32,500. Hence, the conversion cost per direct materials, the conversion cost per unit turns out to be 30,000 plus the 9,000 divided by equivalent units, 32,500. And it turns out that the conversion cost per unit is $1.2. Using weighted average method, let's calculate the unit production cost. So now we are interested in the total cost, which is direct material plus direct labor plus manufacturing overhead. In this case, manufacturing overhead and direct labor is lumped into conversion cost. And all we need to do is add direct material cost plus conversion cost. That will give us the total production cost. So cost per unit for direct material, just like calculated, was $1. Conversion cost was $1.2, and unit production cost that we are interested in, that will go into eventual to cost of goods sold, is $2.2 for the month of April using weighted average method. Let's calculate the values of working process inventory. And what we are interested in is these basically for direct material and conversion. So direct material cost was $1, but it was $1 for 100% complete units. So we need to multiply that by 5,000. Please note 5,000 is not 100% complete. They are 25% complete. So we need to multiply that by 25%. As we also need to add conversion cost, $1.2. Multiply that by 5,000 and it is 50% complete. So the total turns out to be $4,250. We can also calculate the $4,250 in another way, which is our fundamental equation in managerial accounting. Beginning working process inventory plus transfers in is equal to ending working process inventory plus transfers out. Beginning working process was 20,000 plus 30,000. Transfers in is 11,250 plus 9,000. That is going to be equal to ending working process inventory plus the 2.2, the full cost we found, multiplied by 30,000 units that are completed. This was 30,000. From this perspective, we can also calculate the value of the ending working process inventory, and again, it is 4,250, another checkpoint or another proof point for working process inventory. You can do it both ways, as long as you know the dollar amounts for conversion and direct material, or you can look at the fundamental equation of managerial accounting and use it to calculate working process ending inventory.